Hola Bafetu, hola Bafetu, hola Bafetu, hola Bafetu. Welcome back. Welcome to the channel. Dibalin Football Channel, Kaizer Chiefs Football Channel. Football from the fans' perspective, man. Yeah, today we're speaking about, it's not really news, we just having a view on the intention by the PSL executive to review the decision made by the SAFA arbitrator on the two Kaizer Chiefs games. And of course the club released a statement, but it is not yet official that the PSL will be reviewing the decision. Apparently they intend to take it to court. Of course, we spoke about it yesterday or in my previous video, but we didn't really, dwell much on it because at that time, at that moment, there was no yet official statement either from SAFA, not SAFA man, from PSL or Kaizer Chiefs, and then yeah, man, somebody did ask and did mention that it's good to see my videos each and every three days, and just to say this a little bit in passing, that I want to make videos every day, and if it was possible I would do them every day. And in fact, I prefer, on commenting and making commentary on daily basis, but it is almost impossible, to be honest. I'm trying this the past few days, but it's almost impossible. First, it's time issues. Capitalism requires a lot out of us, too much. It leaves you tired, it leaves you uninterested in almost anything. When you're coming from work or when you're going to work, it's either something happens at work or just the work is too much. You just don't feel like doing anything else. You just want to sleep, wake up, go to work and sleep. You always feel tired. So yeah, man, we live in this kind of conditions. And the second thing is the availability of news, man, and sources in South Africa. To be honest, we are fortunate that we speak on Kaizer Chiefs, because if you would really want to speak on other teams, let's be honest, you would not have news. You would not have news. You go online, you go on, at least Soccer does, even though people have doubts about it, even though people have issues, but at least Soccer is one that will give you constant updates. But really, the whole football system in South Africa is ran with like some kind of secrecy. There's nothing that has been said. It's very few interviews taken by players, very few interviews taken by coaches. Your podcasts, they're not that much. They're not that much. That's why when Tim Sugazi speaks of something that is ordinary, that has been said several times, it sounds so new, because we don't have news available. We don't have news available. But yeah, Kaizer Chiefs did release a media statement. I would like to just go through a statement, and then yeah, man, I'll have my comment. So this is what the club says. It says Kaizer Chiefs is shocked and bewildered by the recent news reaching the club, despite a lack of formal communication from the league, which one would expect. The club has been informed of the PSL Executive Committee's resolution to review the arbitration award of Advocate Nazir Kasim SC, which was handed down on Friday, 18 March 2022. The arbitration award correctly decided that the interruption in the club's performance for the two missed December fixtures was temporarily by vis major. That is an overwhelming, unanticipated, and unpreventable event created by Omicron. Notwithstanding the fair outcome and a costs award to those affected by the organizing of the two matches, it appears the league is dissatisfied with the outcomes, and it intends to review it with a view of setting aside the award in the High Court. This unfortunate step has taken the club by surprise, as in doing so, the league is in breach of its own constitution and rules, as well as SAFA statutes, which frown upon court systems resolving football disputes, or which frowns upon court systems resolving football disputes. The club will have no choice but to defend such a challenge, as it is of the view that the arbitrator came to the lawful and reasonable conclusion that It would have been negligent, if not reckless, for the club to field a team for the two games, and that Kaizer Chiefs acted as a reasonable employer in the circumstances. The matter shall soon be sub judice, and the club shall not give any further commitment in this regard. We trust that football loving community will provide the club with the necessary respect in attending to this matter. Amakosi for life. And yeah, that's the end of the statement. Yeah. So, without even informing the club, PSL is said to be looking to appeal the decision. Remember, the Kaizer Chiefs chairman, who's part of the executive, John Committee is part of the executive, and Mamato, part of the executive. They don't form part of the meetings, since this issue involves their teams. So without even telling the club, still they hear from outside that there is an intention to go to High Court. And here's my view on it. I mean, PSL shouldn't be doing this. Really, 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 really. There's no need to be doing this. There's no need to drag this any further. Unless PSL, the point is to get a fully legitimate, legal standing on this issue. At least by going to court, that your decisions will stick. The court's decision stick. It is the law, and so you are guaranteed that even when people are speaking, saying the decisions of PSL, it's pick and choose, it's double standards and stuff like that. Now they know that they will have a court decision. All the parties that are not satisfied will know that at least it is court decision. Even despite the fact that the constitution does say that it frowns against or towards football disputes being resolved by courts. I think might be a strategy to say, let's get a court decision, and it at least will shift the responsibility from us, and so that we don't have to speak about Cape Umoya, Cape Polokwane City cases and stuff like that. And I don't know why the PSL would choose to drag this. That's the second thing I want to say. Because first of all, it causes a stain. There's a huge stain on the leadership and credibility of the PSL executive already, with the interview made by Tim Sugazi. And people have been saying it, that there's issues in PSL, there's issues in terms of leadership and how it is led. To drag this only adds to those things. It doesn't help in diffusing the situation, it doesn't help in clarifying the situation and moving forward. And it's going to cause a stress in terms of the schedule as to how the whole season will finish. Because if you go to court, guarantee processes will take time. You will press court to take a very quick decision on it, but processes will take much longer than it is expected. And I can tell you that right now, Kaizer Chiefs still stands a very good chance of winning it, because if you go to court, the court will recognize the COVID-19 regulations. The court will take into account the circumstances around it, the fact that you have Omicron, and the court will take into account the fact that the arbitration's decision should be upheld. Why? Because, like I said in my previous video, there's issues of conflict of interest that it cannot be dealt with within the PSL. So yeah man, that's my view. And the fact that clearly there's politics in PSL, clearly there's corruption in PSL, clearly that the whole project and the whole organization is ran like a gang, like a gang where faces of the people matter, where rules don't stick, are solid. They are easy to bend, they're easy to sway around, they're easy to change, they're easy to ignore. I mean, if you have an executive member in joint committees whom, before any official thing is said, he goes in public and says, no, it's fine if the arbitrators decided for Kaizer Chiefs can have those points, we're not going to play those games, and all that and all that and all that. That's so unprofessional. And I can tell you, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen to him. And you can see, judge from his response, that he has no respect of the organization which he himself leads. So it says a lot, man. It says a lot, man. I mean, you saw Royal AM just in the beginning of the season how they were dragged, how they also dragged PSL to court, even though PSL does not want to have its issues resolved in court. The whole situation around PSL and Royal AM was embarrassing, and this one that involves Kaizer Chiefs is embarrassing as well. Is embarrassing, and I think they need to take a decision as soon as possible, accept the decision of the arbitrator, and let the teams play the games. Anyway, I'm sure even many of you, even anyone that, even if you don't like Kaizer Chiefs, you don't want points and games won in the courtroom. You don't want points and games won in the in the round table. That's not how football should be. And surely you know that Kaizer Chiefs was correct and took reasonable steps. Even if you are just a general person, even if you don't like Kaizer Chiefs, this one is on our side, and it should be, for me, it should be put to bed as soon as possible. The last thing I want to say is that it's funny that Kaizer Chiefs is ready to defend. In fact, it is capable of defending legal cases, but can't defend goals, can't defend on the pitch. It is another thing for another day that we will be speaking about for the rest of the season. That we can defend cases, we can defend games in hand, we can defend and all that, but we can't defend the games, we can't defend the goals on the pitch. Let me hear from you. What do you think about this whole saga? I will speak about the points raised by Team Sukwazi on my next video, of course. But let me hear from you. You think it's really fair to drag this further? What does it do to the reputation of the organization PSL, to the schedule of PSL, and where do you see this thing ending? Where really do you see this thing ending? Otherwise, from me, Tibalen Football Channel, Kaizer Chiefs Football Channel, football from the fans' perspective. Until we meet again.